everyone, Dexterous Crafter here. Welcome back to my channel. Today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be moving on to the craft that started it all really in terms of my hobbies. So today we will be doing cross stitch, and I'm doing a Me to You bear pattern, or some people know it as Tatty Teddy. So what I'm going to do with this design is I'm going to sort of doing an unpacking video, so to speak. I'm going to open it all up, see what you get, and then also with this one I'm going to do it from start to finish. So it's an unpacking video, it's an introduction to cross stitch, and it's also a design video. So for me, I think this kit is brilliant because we can get so much out of it really. So we'll open it up and we shall see what we get. We get our threads already all neatly organised into their colour codes. We get some instructions. These are generic instructions, so for anybody that hasn't done any cross stitch before, it literally tells you how to start it, how to sort your threads, and all these ones, it's how to do all your different stitches. So for people that learn better by reading instead of seeing, this is a really good set of instructions. So we've got our kit instructions. So I'll put them there so you can see them, but I will also show you the pattern, because what I didn't realise when I bought the kit, it's already pre-printed Ada, which is not a problem. It's not usually the designs that I go for, but that's my own fault for not reading the website. So yeah, you can see it's all printed on the Ada. It's nice and clear actually. You can really see the picture. So with this kit as well, you're only doing little bits of cross stitch, which again makes it so easy for beginners. If we fold these up and I'll break it down a bit for you. So with this, we're only cross stitching the pink wings and his blue nose for the cross stitch. Now if I bring these a bit closer, as you can see, all your symbols, I hope you can see it, all your symbols for the wings, and that little bit there is his nose. And if we turn the instructions over, for this one, this is for back stitch. So which again, like I say, because I'm doing the kit from start to finish, I will show you how to do back stitch. So literally see all around here for the back stitch, round his wings, round his nose, and the decoration, the detail, sorry, on the jar with the writing. Now another thing that makes this kit so simple is there's literally 3 elements to it. You've got cross stitch in the collar, you've got back stitch round the wings and on the jar, and I'll just fold it over. We can see on the eye you've got that dot, that is a French knot. So they are a little bit tricky to get started, but again I will show all this. So yes, that is our design. And one thing I have just noticed, if you look at, I'll just fold this up a little bit. If you look at the instructions, you'll see an X and it says start here. And we go over to our design, that same X is there. So it even helps you out by telling you where to start. Make sure I've covered everything. Oh, nice little bonus as well. Hopefully you can see. You get a needle with it, which is always a nice little bonus. Most kits do come with needles. There are some kits you find, I think it tends to vary on suppliers. This kit has come from Hobbycraft, and I've never had a kit from there that doesn't come with a needle. If you do get a kit that doesn't have a needle, they are so easy to pick up. Any craft shop, embroidery, any places that do stockists like that, they do have needles, and they are just so cheap and easy to pick up. So without further ado, I will get these bits put away and we will get started. Okay guys, here we are. That's everything all organised, put away. So the only thing we will need to start with is our printed Ada, our instructions. Now with our instructions, I'll be working on the simpler design, so that's the one without the back stitch. So it's purely the cross stitch. And we've got our threads ready. All of those ready to go. Now, a couple of things that you may find useful when you're doing cross stitch is just either a pencil or a highlighter, because what I like to do with my patterns is, as I'm going through it, I'll cross it all out as I go along. So probably every 2 or 3 stitches for a simpler design, I'll cross it out with a pencil. The reason I do that is, one, I know where I am so I don't get confused, and number 2, generally if I do a pattern, I don't have the interest in going back over it. So if I mark it and it doesn't rub off, it's not a problem, because I won't be using it. And also as well, which I'll be also getting set up now, is a hoop, which I do find very, very useful. I just find it keeps it tidier. So literally with a hoop, I put the tightening bit at the front, this goes to the back, literally slide it under, you match up the bottom top and ring. Now with a new Ada, you do have to be careful, because new Ada that hasn't been worked on is very, very stiff. So if you have a bit of a weak hoop, which admittedly mine's not the best, it has seen better days, then it can easily break your hoop. So just give it a good push down and just literally, once you think you've got it, so it can be a bit fiddly. What I'll do is I'll just bring this off camera, get it tightened. So finally got it on the hoop. So what I like to do is very, very carefully, I pull the Ada round the sides of the hoop just to keep it some tension. What I find is the tauter the Ada, the easier it is to follow your design, and plus as well just to see the holes. So now that's on, get our needle and our thread. Now with the threads, they come generally, Again, it's down to supplier. Some send them like this organised, some it comes in one big long strand, so you have to literally cut it up to your size of preference. So with this one, like I say, we're starting at the X, as that's where it advises us. So that one is a black dot in the middle. So we move down our instructions at the bottom, and that is 3689. So this one. So, oops. Need to pull this off. Then just break it down a bit further. Move these out of the way. And then generally with cross stitches, you just work with 2 strands of thread. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it can be more, but generally what I found, rule of thumb, is you work with 2 strands unless the instructions say otherwise. So I will just break off 2. Get my fingers in. Just like that. And let's just pull them apart. Easy as that. Let's get rid of that spare over there. And then I need to thread my needle. Like so. And then also as well, at the bottom, I like to put a small knot in. So what you need to do is, you need to get your knot as close to the end as possible. So that you've got more material obviously then to work with. So we've got our knot in the end, so move on to our Ada. Now the rule, not so much a rule, but the technique of cross stitch is all your crosses to get a neat finish has to be going in the same way. So with my crosses, what I generally do is I go that way first, and then I come back over to make a cross. So all my crosses will be the same way. It just gives it that neater finish. So we are going to start our X. So, explained before, I'm going to go top left, just very gently till that knot catches. Bottom right. And then top right, bottom left. And there you have it, guys. That is the first cross completed. So I'll just put it down for a second. So what my plan is with the instructions is, excuse my pencil, generally I wouldn't start in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, just to make it a bit easier for you to see how the technique works, I'm going to do these stitches up to this top line. I won't do this top line, I'm going to do them bits and then I'll come back to you, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a zigzag coming down the wing. It might make it easy for you to follow the technique. So I shall do these bits and then I'll be back with you. Back in a moment, guys. So finally got it on the hoop. So what I like to do is very, very carefully I pull the aider round the sides of the hoop just to keep it some tension. What I find is the tauter the aider, the easier it is to follow your design, and plus as well just to see the holes. So now that's on. Get our needle and our thread. Now with the threads, they come generally, they again, it's down to supplier. Some send them like this organised. Some it comes in one big long strand. So you have to literally cut it up to your side of preference. So with this one, like I say, we're starting at the X, as that's where it advises us. So that one is a black dot in the middle. So we move down our instructions at the bottom, and that is 3689. So this one. So, oops. Need to pull this off. Then just break it down a bit further. Move these out of the way. And then generally with cross stitches, you just work with 2 strands of thread. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it can be more, but generally what I found, rule of thumb, is you work with 2 strands, unless the instructions say otherwise. So I will just break off 2. Get my fingers in. Just like that. And let's just pull them apart. Easy as that. Now just get rid of that spare over there. And then I need to thread my needle. Like so. And then also as well, at the bottom, I like to put a small knot in. What you need to do is, you need to get your knot as close to the end as possible. So that you've got more material obviously then to work with. So we've got our knot in the end, so move on to our aider. Now the rule, not so much a rule, but the technique of cross stitch is all your crosses to get a neat finish has to be going in the same way. So with my crosses, what I generally do is I go that way first, and then I come back over to make a cross. So all my crosses will be the same way. It just gives it that neater finish. So we are going to start our X. So explained before, I'm going to go top left, just very gently till that knot catches, bottom right, and then top right, bottom left. And there you have it, guys. That is the first cross completed. So I'll just put that down for a second. So what my plan is with the instructions is, excuse my pencil, generally I wouldn't start in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, just to make it a bit easier for you to see how the technique works, I'm going to do these stitches up to this top line. I won't do this top line. I'm going to do them bits and then I'll come back to you, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a zigzag coming down the wing. It might make it easy for you to follow the technique. So I shall do these bits and then I'll be back with you. Back in a moment, guys. Okay, guys, that's that bit done. So as you can hopefully see, I've done the stitches leading up to the top row of his wing. Hopefully see, here's all the shading that I was telling you about that I do as I go along. So we've got one more row at the top, and then it's literally going to be left and right working down as I explained. So I'll just do this, whoops, put my needle up. So I'll explain for top left, bottom right, top right, and bottom left. So let me just double check with the instructions. So I need, there's my pencil, I've done that one. Give it a little squiggle. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going across. Like so. Yeah, so literally all I'm doing is every single stitch I'm doing top left, bottom right, top right, and bottom left. I apologise now if it's a bit hard to see with it being pink on pink. Hopefully you'll see just for technique really. Just hopefully it will come across about how I'm going everything in the same way. Oops, just 2 seconds guys. Just got a knot on the back. Yeah, don't worry if you get any knots. A lot of the time it's just little prizes. Literally just find it in the back is, what I'm going to do is I'll just get rid of this knot and I'll be back with you. There you are. Just need a little bit of tugging out. Just like that. So what I'm going to do is very quickly shade out this bit so that I know it's done. So the next row I need to go down to the left in a diagonal way and then all the way across where it meets. So what I'm going to do for this one is, because I've got the design to do to show you, I'm going to do this row very quickly and hopefully you'll be able to get to see how I do it. I'm literally just going in the same way that I did with the top row. So top left, bottom right, top right and bottom left. Now, once you get your confidence and you know, basically you know what you're doing with your stitches, you will be able to do pieces a lot quicker. All it is just practice and confidence. Like I say, I've been doing cross stitch really since, like I said in my intro, about 13-14 years. So I've got a lot of practice. So we say under, oops, that's what I get for not concentrating. So with this one, oops, so got a little bit wrong there. That's what I get for trying to multitask. So I've actually gone down in the top right, so it's still very easily solved to keep the way we're going. I'll literally just go up the bottom right and in the top left. So it doesn't really matter which way you go round, basically, as long as your stitches are still going the same way. So for this one now, I can go the same way again. So back through the top left, bottom right, just like that. Just like so. So what I will do for you is I will do another row just to show you, because I think this one I'm going to have to do a couple of half stitches. So I'm actually going to give you an unexpected extra lesson. So I'll do this last row for you, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away from the camera. I'm going to finish, I'm going to finish this wing. I'm going to do, I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to do the wings. I'm going to see when I come back to camera, but I'm definitely going to do this row and then finish this wing off camera, and then I'll see how we're doing this wing when I come back. So for a half stitch, you still follow the same directions as you have been doing for your crosses. So I need to do 2 half stitches, so they start the same way as I did before. So I've gone my top left to bottom right, but instead of going up in this one, which is top right, instead of going to bottom left, I'm carrying it over to the next side. So I've gone top left to bottom right on 2 half stitches, and that is literally all there is to half stitch. So to go back on yourself again, I'm going top right, bottom left, and then top right again, and bottom left. And there are your 2 half stitches done and completed into a full cross stitch. So now, to finish my wings, I'm literally going to do just a normal cross stitch as I've been doing. Oops, I've got a little knot in the back. Yep. Two seconds, because all this one is just literally pulling it out. Easy as that. Yeah, there is, like I say, there's cross stitch isn't very complicated, as you can see. I think a lot with cross stitch is when you look at some of the patterns, it can be very daunting. I'm doing one, another one at the moment off camera, and to look at it, it's very, very daunting. But all you need to do is just take your basic cross stitch skill, and then you can do any pattern at all. Just having the basic know-how and the confidence to try it. So just double check my instructions. Yep. So there you are. We have, click in my pencil, our 3 rows that we've done with cross stitch and an added bonus lesson of a half stitch. So yeah, like I say guys, I'm going to finish the rest of it off camera, and then what I am going to do is, I've just thought, I'm going to get down to the bottom, I'm going to come back, and then I'm actually going to show you how to tie off your threads. So yeah, I'll get this done and I'll be back with you in a moment, guys. So back again. So this is where we've got up to so far. See where my needle is, just about to complete the final row on the first wing. So see the instructions, I've been crossing them out as I go along. Now we're down to this row here. Now I've been a bit premature scratching them out, but that's the row we're going to complete to finish this light pink on the wing. And then once I've done it, I will show you how I tie them off. So I've got, just double check the instructions. 2, 3, 4 stitches. So carrying on the crosses. There, again, going in the right hole. Oops. Same way as we've been doing that I showed you in the other stitches. And get it for the hole. Last one, and then we will do the tie off. There you go. So flip it over. So now there's a couple of ways that you can tie off. Depends really how confident you are, because when I started, what I used to do is I used to take my needle and I used to go under a thread that had been worked. So I'd actually push my needle underneath the thread, pull it out like so, and then I would push my needle back through the hole and just pull it. So there's that way. Or what I do sometimes do is I bring it up. I don't know if you'll see, but underneath the AD you've got bars that go horizontal and bars that go vertical. So what I do is I'll just turn it round to make it a bit easier. So this bar here that's going vertical is I push my needle under it. Now if you look at the front, it's not actually come through to the other side. Right, it's just one of the just where the Ada sort of connects to make the grid. So I push it under there, and again pull your needle through and push it through the loop to make a knot, just like that. Now the only thing with doing it that way, I prefer it because to me it feels that bit more secure than using a thread, because I know it's not going to budge. But the only thing is, if you're a little bit too hard with pulling, you can have a tendency to rip the Ada. I've not known it with new Ada. It tends to be Ada that I've had sat lying around that I've found. So if you do it that way, yes, I find it's securer, but just try not to be so rough with it. So I shall just get some scissors. So here we are, just some normal scissors or little sewing ones, doesn't really matter. I'll just pull my needle off so I don't lose it, and literally just clip it close to material. There you are. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got a little tuft, because it will all get hidden as you carry on. So there you are, guys. That's the first part of her wing done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this part 1 video, because I appreciate it is a fair video size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this here. I'm going to then move on to part 2 of the video. In that one, hopefully we're going to get this one, these bits done, which is a darker pink. Just quickly reach for the instructions. Yeah, we've got this dark pink that runs down the side. So like I say, in part 2 we're going to do the dark pink on this wing, and we're also going to move on to doing the other wings and hopefully the blue nose. And what my thinking is, depending on how my planning goes, part 2 will be the rest of the cross stitch, and part 3 will be the back stitch around the wings and for the writing. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do as a format for it. If you guys could let me know in the comments what you would prefer. Would you rather me do similar to this video, show you the start of it, come away and then come back, or would you rather me do the whole of the stitching on camera, but what I'll do it is I'll do it in a fast forward motion so you can see it, but obviously a lot quicker. So if you guys could put in the comment what you would like to see, I would be most grateful. And I'll see what's put, and I'll let you know when I come back for part 2. So apart from that, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.